Content warning. Today's episode of Pop Culture covers topics that may be disturbing for some viewers or listeners. Viewer and listener discretion is advised.
Hello, my lovely hummingbirds. How's it going, everyone? Welcome back to another episode of Makeup and Motivation here on Pop Culture with your lovely host, Monroe. Pop in, my lovely hummingbirds. I know it's been about a week and a half since I saw you last, but considering me returning to work and my health issues and the state of the world, and especially stateside, and just so much stuff going on, I wasn't able to post anywhere as much as I would have liked to. But that said, we are back and better than ever for this week's episode. Also, wait, hi! If you are new or returning, this is a series on this channel where we dive into everything news, movies, media, music, entertainment, popular culture as a whole, as well as giving you updates of things going on locally and around the world. And, doing some bomb-ass cosplay looks or character-inspired makeup looks as we do. As we do this along the freaking way. 'Cause, why not? Anyway, hi my lovely hummingbirds. For today's episode, we are going to be discussing not only everything going on stateside as far as the Trump administration and just the behemoth of everything that is, as well as the 67th annual Grammy Awards, which, chef's fucking kiss. Okay, this year was amazing. In the best way possible and some of the worst ways possible, respectfully. And also, we will be discussing today's topic of conversation, which is life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. And yes, I know that is not the title of today's episode. Usually they coincide with one another. Today's episode is titled, well, that wasn't very patriotic, now is it? Or that's not very patriotic, now is it? Because of just everything we're going to cover today. But yeah, today's inspiration, today's makeup guest star is none other than WonderWoman. We love a good superhero look, and this one is going to be absolutely bitchin'. That said, before we begin today's episode, I really would appreciate it if you would all join me in a moment of silence for the lives that we have lost since the beginning of this year in the world of music, movies, entertainment, popular culture as a whole, including David Lynch, Steve Levinson, Joanne Plowright, Leslie Charleston, John Sykes, and Barbie Sue. I really appreciate it, and thank you for joining me in this moment of silence. Thank you all for joining me in the moment of silence. Now, without further ado, let us get on with the makeup look. Hi, my lovely hummingbirds. What's poppin'? To get us started off with today's makeup look, we're going in first with our Black Radiance Continuous Cream Eyeliner. Why are we going in first with this gorgeous, gorgeous eyeliner? Because we have learned our lesson when it comes to glitter, okay? And before we apply the glitter, we will apply the eyeliner. Look at that cut. Look at how good it looks. Ugh, obsessed. Honestly, I probably have not done an eyeliner look this good since then. I'm just in a different shape when it comes to the summer. But anyway, make sure you're applying your eyeliner first before applying glitter, my lovely hummingbirds. Otherwise, it's gonna be so messy to get it on after.
Now that that's done, we're going to go in with our glitter glue. For this one, we did the Anastasia Beverly Hills glitter glue. It has a brush on it. I tried applying it before with like the usual thing that I apply my glitter glue with. This did not work with this one, so we just went ahead and applied it with the brush that already came in the little thingamabob. Anyway, we're gonna go in with our Glam Body palette with both of those golds, and yes, we mixed them together and it gave the most gorgeous effect. And when I tell you, I was so obsessed with this glitter look. To die for. So good. Look at that. You see that? You see that freaking golden glitter payout? It is just amazing. Obsessed. And I did go ahead and extend it a little bit on like almost the entirety of the eyelid area. There's a reason for that. As soon as we get into like the remainder of what we're drawing for this look, it'll make a bit more sense. But yeah. We're creating a flag on our eyes, y'all. That's why it'll make more sense later. After this, we went ahead and did our face. Not only did we use Say in the shade 4, I believe, oh my god, it's the Dewy Skin Tint, that one, and we also mixed it with our Tarte Amazonian Clay Foundation Light Sand together. I know, super matte and super dewy combined, it gives a really gorgeous finish. And I was like trying to just match myself perfectly because I was still in between shades at this point. But it's so good. It gives a very satin finish to the entire makeup look. It's so nice. Yes, if you are new here and you're watching on video. We also went in with the Tarte Amazonian Clay medium tan sand powder foundation afterwards. But if this is your first time watching this on video, hi. Yeah, we are on like triple speed. Then we went in with our Hoola bronzer by Benefit Cosmetics. It just gives this gorgeous, like, slightly more cool toned shade to our contour, which I usually do warmer shades, but still, this one, I don't know. It's been like my new obsession, honestly. Up next, we're going in with this Haus Labs bright red freaking, it's a makeup stick. It's like blush and lip and multi-use, really. But it's so gorgeous and such a good just cherry red for the outer corner of our eyelids, because this is why we did the makeup first, because we are extending beyond just the eyelid. We're going to go back in with the Glam Light eyeshadow primer, the Kiss one, the white one. It's, oh my god, it's such a pretty base. But as you can see, you go in to the eyelid where that like glitter is, because we want to make like a wavy flag effect. I was so unsure of how I was going to do this to begin with. I was so nervous the whole time. I was like, wait, these sides don't match. What are we doing? But yeah. And disrupting the glitter is also not planned as part of this. But the like overall, the overarching result was so good. This is our blue kohl eyeliner. So pretty, such a soft like sky blue. And I did this as like the general outline for the star. I do adjust it throughout, but I'm like, I just need a general idea of where I'm going to position it so that I can like go in there with my eyeshadow to do the blue part of our eyelid flag. And it's perfect. I love it so much. Y'all can create this look on your own for your very own Wonder Woman cosplays, or, you know, whatever else you want to create this look for. And up next, we have my favorite palette in the whole world, Urban Decay Electric Palette. We're using that gorgeous, gorgeous navy blue first. After we use that one, we do like doing a whole lot of mixing in this episode, but we also go in with the lighter blue shade just to kind of get a balance of that perfect blue that we're trying to do. I didn't want to go full navy blue because it just, I don't know, it didn't look the way that I wanted it to, realistically. Granted, is it closer to like flag blue? Sure, but I was like, no, we're gonna go a bit blue. And once we got done, you know, fluffing all those colors out, we went back in with the glam light and redrew our star, kind of fluffing it out as well, just to give this like really blended in shade, and then went in with our Lime Crime palette in the shade Marble. Guys, I just found out Lime Crime is no longer making makeup, and it just does something to my 2016 baking girly spirit. It ruins me and in such ways. I don't know how I feel about it. I cried, I'm not gonna lie to you. It's like, what do you mean I'll never be able to like recuperate my palette? Also, we went in with the Ofra Rodeo Drive highlighter. Very golden, very gorgeous, very reminds me of Wonder Woman's Lasso of Truth. It glows in the most perfect way. But yeah, we're gonna get more into the Lime Crime thing in a separate episode. I wanted to point it out since I'm using the palette. But yeah, look at that. It's so gorgeous. And then on the top portion, we added a bit of that highlighter as well, just to kind of get everything to blend in well together so it doesn't look like such a stark contrast. We used the Precisely My Brow Wax from Benefit. First off, we're combing our brows out, and I believe it is in the shade 4.5. We go in, we're applying it. So pretty, so nice. If you are not a wax pro, like doing that whole laminating effect with the brows, work your way up to this. Work your way up to this My Lovely Hummingbirds, because I definitely was like, ooh, I should have started on the ends and I started in the front. Why am I like this? But anyways, it came out good anyway, regardless of that. The other thing, I did make a little change to the lippy that I originally applied on my lips for this look. We went in with NARS Star Woman, I believe it is called. But look at me, so good, so cutesy. I did not feel like putting on the headband entirely on my forehead. And now for today's episode. Hi, my lovely hummingbirds. What do we think about the makeup look? So, first off, what strand of hair? You'll ever get that one strand that's just like in your face. Anyway. What do we think about my little flag here, my little makeup look? Yes, I am actually in my Wonder Woman cosplay. I have it on and everything. So, the state of this country, I cannot.
first and foremost, what has been happening to begin with? So, the first, what is it? What day are we in? 7. I can't math right now. 20, 11. So, first week and a half roughly, since the inception of the Trump administration. There have been a total, and this is back when I first started drafting this episode, of 74 executive orders that were signed by Donald Trump. Now, mind you, there have been more since then. Some of those include ending birthright citizenship, freezing of federal funds, removal of resources for the LGBTQIA+ community, for individuals that have or develop HIV, for women's reproductive rights, legally recognizing only 2 genders, and removing the X identifier that was included in passports during the Biden administration. All trans women inmates, and I can't remember where I read this, but that they were being transported to male prisons. ICE raids, not only here in the city of Chicago, but also Atlanta and New York, as well as Arizona, Oregon, Missouri, and I believe it was also Mississippi, if I'm not mistaken. And then removal of DEI, tariffs to be imposed on Mexico, Colombia, China, and Canada. There was also this thing where, supposedly, and I don't know the validity of this statement, he wants to ban all flags, including the LGBTQIA+ flag and Black Lives Matters, from not only federal buildings, but everywhere. FDA, CDC, and the NIH were paused from all public communication until the 1st of this month of February. Medicaid, Medicare, FEMA, USAID, so are all essentially in danger of being completely removed. There was an employee for USAID that basically said, before Elon Musk's team went into the federal building, that they removed all of their pride flags. They removed books that they thought would be incriminating or would get them in trouble to some capacity for celebrating DEI, for being anything out of the scope of, well, to some degree, white supremacy mindset. The Laken Riley Act was passed. His personal beef with the city of Chicago. Yeah, he don't like us here. And I'm okay with that. Amongst all of this happening during the raids, there were individuals that were detained that were of indigenous heritage, that are indigenous, individuals that are Puerto Rican, individuals that were veterans, citizens, all because they looked like immigrants or were speaking Spanish to some capacity. Besides that, so Pritzker and Brandon Johnson, who is the mayor of Chicago, and Pritzker, who is the governor of Illinois, both vehemently stated that they will do everything to protect the immigrant population here, and because Chicago is a sanctuary city, that we are doubling down on that. We will not be eliminating DEI as a whole, things of that nature. And then besides that, and this is just a quick recap of everything, and then we're going to get into what's been going on, right? So a lot of states have been doing very discriminatory laws. There was a bounty law that was passed to be established in Missouri and Mississippi, essentially stating that for every illegal immigrant caught or handed in, the state would supply them with $1,000. To whoever's doing the reporting, a Texas bill was just passed by the Republican electives there, the representatives, for allowing officers to detain and remove those they think lack legal status. Local and international protests have been happening around the world, and there was this thing when it came down to TikTok that everyone's like, when someone walks in your house and like they don't really take anything, but you could tell that they took something, they move shit around, or like when someone goes into your room, things like that. And a lot has changed on TikTok, not only the algorithm, but payouts, as well as censorship on the app of what can and cannot be said. Which we're gonna get a little bit into that in a second. And he also said that he wants to declassify the MLK and JFK assassination documents. And for all those that were chanting, well, people should come into this country the right way. Be so fucking for real, first off. Secondly, CBP One, which is the app that allows for just that, shut down, blocking thousands, if not a million, people from entering this country through the correct channels, right? And the latest thing that the Trump administration, or at least Trump, has been filed a motion for and tried to do this hasty write-up is he wants to own the Gaza Strip. Netanyahu was here in Washington because they were having talks about the U.S. owning the Gaza Strip and how they were going to turn it into the Riviera of the Middle East. Not only that, deportations en masse have happened, and they've been sending planes to every single Latin American country for the most part. I know that Mexico had rejected a plane, and everyone's like, oh my god, see, Mexico doesn't want their citizen. No, it wasn't that. It's that there were non-Mexican citizens on that plane. Basically, they were trying to drop off everyone and have it be Mexico's problem. Here's the thing, okay? I know, my lovely hummingbirds, it is hard right now. It is fucking stressful to always be on, to continually scroll and learn and hear the new scandalous thing that is being signed by the administration and being pushed forward en masse, like Elon and his staff from Doge basically having free reign access to everybody's Social Security, amongst other personal government documents. Mind you, he is not an elected official. He is an unpaid intern, essentially, because he's an unofficial employee, official employee. I can't remember who the representative was, but essentially they want to pass the Elon Musk Act, which bans exactly that. The government putting money into official employees, and honestly, it's insane, everything that we're seeing happen stateside. So to get a little bit into the executive orders that are being passed, from removal of DEI to removal of reproductive health resources to the removal of LGBTQIA plus resources to the legal acknowledgement of only two genders to Oh, the like TikTok act of like the prohibition of adversary run applications. And everyone's like, oh, he saved TikTok. No, he didn't. There's always been a plan for it. Censorship and manipulation of media. We're going to get more into that next week's episode, because I also want to get into like the $25 million lawsuit. I don't actually remember the amount. It was either 25,000 or no, million sounds more accurate, or 5 million, some shit, some $1 million lawsuit that he launched against Meta for censoring him the first go around, which that in itself, Meta censored him. Snoop Dogg was talking shit about anybody back in 2016, and all of a sudden we did a little flippy flip. But the executive orders, a lot of people have been likening what is occurring with the administration currently in power to a different administration that used to be in power back in the 30s in Germany. And that everything that is being enacted by Donald Trump is copy and paste of that book. And how the reason that he is doing everything so quickly is because, one, it adds shock value, but also can be somewhat of a distraction, because people are not going to be looking at what he's doing underneath what is so in everyone's face, which unfortunately at this point in time is ICE raids, immigration, and diversity, equity, and inclusion cancellations. If you have not been caught up to everything that's happening, my lovely hummingbirds, it's a shit show, to say the fucking least. Keep your wits about y'all, though. Like, it's not the time to act erratic. Definitely double down, stand up, do all of that, but it's been a chess match for a really long time, right? So, here's the thing. When the notification first appeared of the end of birthright citizenship, everyone was like, oh no, he's only doing it forward, for everyone moving forward. And I was like, nah, that don't sound right to me, because ain't no way. So I was looking over my notes. I'm like, no, ain't no way. Sure enough, later on, it came out that they want to remove birthright citizenship for essentially everyone, under the guise that, oh, if one or both parents were not legal here upon your birth, then they'll remove it. And I would believe it, except there have been individuals, as I mentioned, indigenous individuals detained, Puerto Rican individuals detained, and Puerto Rico is a territory of the United States of America. Besides that, veterans were detained. And individuals that are citizens that their parents might have entered the country illegally, but were not illegal at that point of their children's birth, have also been detained and taken, and unlawfully so, because when an official from ICE knocks at your door, they need to have a order by a judge, a signed order, and you are within your right to not answer the door, to ask them to put it underneath through like the slit of your door, and or leave it there and leave the premises. I can't remember where I saw the report of this family. Basically, that didn't fucking matter. They broke down the door, barged in, took the dad. Everything happening honestly feels like out of a fucking movie. And all my lovely Gen Zs, millennials, Gen X, out there. We've seen it all. We've watched Independence Day. We watched freaking, oh my god, V for Vendetta. Now the latest one was Civil War, not the Avengers one. The one with Kirsten Dunst that I mentioned. And so many films that, to some capacity, exemplified a dystopic US, right? Even fucking Divergent series. Like, so many films have shown us, to some capacity, the route we take if we refuse to learn and acknowledge the history that has already happened and make lasting change. Or when power and greed corrupt. As far as the immigration situation, right? Because it is very drastic. It's also very, what's the word I'm looking for? Oxymoronic? Because, well, this country was built on immigration. Lady Liberty was a gift from France to be placed in New York so that everyone that went in through that harbor reached the land of the free. Or apparently free. And as I mentioned in the other episode of Pop Culture, and Jon Stewart did an excellent job of mentioning it, how, you know, throughout the history of the U.S. we have seen this, whether it is with the Polish population, with the Italian, why can I not speak? The Italian population, whether it is the Asian and Pacific Islander population, whomsoever it is, the Middle Eastern community, everybody that is deemed a minority with, oh my god, with my black community, right? Literal fucking slavery. This country was built literally on the backs of slaves and immigrants. That's just what it is. And, you know, the genocide of Native American indigenous peoples. We've seen it before. And to say that we have not is ignorant. To sit here and pretend that everything that this man is doing, every racist remark that he has stated, every racist action that he has taken, is not exactly how he intended to run this dictatorship, because that is what he wants to be. He wants to be sovereign. He wants to be ruler. He does not want to be president. He mentioned he would be the last president. Is exactly how he intends to run things. Everyone keeps pushing as far from the MAGA camp, the landslide narrative, but when you look at the numbers, that is not accurate. But I digress. There is no changing the fact that he won. I can't say shit about it. I did a whole breakdown here on Pop Culture about those statistics. The thing with it is, right, these are troubling times. These are terrifying times. And millennials as a generation, we are so fucking unserious. Because the memes and the jokes and everything, like, we are really that generation that learned to laugh through our traumas as a coping mechanism. There has been a lot of protests, right, in LA, here in Chicago, around the world, to go against what is happening as far as government is concerned in the United States, against the forcible removal of immigrant families, especially because it is taking a very racist undertone, where the immigrant families that are being pushed out are majority brown, right? They are those that speak Spanish. And I can't be like, oh, we didn't see that. It was there. Project 2025 was there. The whole plan was always right in everyone's faces. Infighting amongst the culture did not help when it comes to Latino culture. I saw a thing about this Arabic group that was pro-Trump in Michigan, and they were pushing like, oh, he's gonna help the community narrative. Once they found out that he now wants to lay claim on Gaza, they were like, oh, that is not it. It was very reminiscent to me of all the Latinos that voted for Trump, because they're like, oh, he's gonna take all the criminal illegals out. Oh, he's gonna take all of the immigrants that rushed in from Venezuela in the past year out, without really seeing the larger scope of things. That was not the case. There are going to be immigration resources linked in the description, as well as CEI and other resources, my lovely hummingbirds, for you to get all the necessary information that you need at these times. And I will periodically link it, whether it is in my stories or here in the descriptions on YouTube. Or if you want to reach out to my little coffee and conversation, cafecito y conversación email, welcome to the bouquet at Gmail. For more resources, definitely feel free to. Via my link tree, via here, via however. The thing with when it comes to immigration, right? Granted, knowing your rights, my lovely hummingbirds, is going to be super, super, super important at this time, at these moments, because the more you know your rights, the more you have a phone number of a trusted lawyer on hand, it is going to be very, very helpful. Carry documents, have people on speed dial, memorize phone numbers too in case they take your shit. Like, I can't believe I'm fucking saying this. I literally myself am in shock. Like, this is real. They're loading my people up onto fucking buses and holding them at the border. Like, it's so surreal. It feels so surreal to some capacity. That said, when it comes to how we got here, this was not new. This was not something that just magically occurred during the Biden administration. This is something that has been occurring for a long time. So the thing is, right, there were already tensions between the Venezuelan government and the US of A, all the way down to COVID. And we know how great that was handled. Post that happening, well, things were still tense once the Biden administration came in. And I am not the biggest fan of our past presidency and how, especially when it came to like international law and how all of that was handled. Not a fan. But sanctions were put in place to prohibit resources, to prohibit exports and imports from the country,
essentially, to some degree, closing them off from the rest of the world, at least closing them off from US. When conflict rose in Venezuela, and I feel like Venezuela has been a little bit in a constant state of conflict for years. I mean, if we remember back, I want to say pre-2016 Latin Grammys, Chino y Nacho, they were like, for our país de Venezuela, and like basically, asking people to pray for the people over there. Like, it's been happening for a while. So this didn't just happen overnight because of Biden. But the sanctions that were put in place isolated the country to some degree and prohibited them from, being able to resolve everything at a much more peaceful pace, I guess you could say. And when people have nowhere to go and are scared, oftentimes because the United States, this baby girl branded herself as the land of the free, okay? As the land of the American dream, as the land of immigrants, as the land of where dreams can be made into a fucking reality. Everyone goes here. Everyone hauls ass here. Right? I mean, which one of our generations didn't grow up with the great American dream? That said, everyone that came in to the country did so legally. Okay. And I will say it to my final fucking breath, y'all. The difference between the previous administration and this administration is you had freedom of speech. You had resources. We all did. We had the ability to hold the powers that be accountable because they were politicians. And while a politician might not be your best fucking friend, they are people that to some capacity care about the laws of this country, care about democracy. And if y'all want to, watch me freaking break down history to y'all and break down the branches of government and do all that, let me know. I'll fucking do it. I don't care. We'll add a little history segment to freaking Makeup and Motivation every week where we learn something new about fucking history. But I'm probably just gonna do it anyways because I'm so sick and tired. I'm so sick and tired of everything that I'm just seeing and reading and just the lack of awareness and the repetitiveness of cycles. I was not a history major in college, but I've said it on here before, your girl was trying to be a fucking historian since I was a kid. I wanted to go into archaeology and forensics and history and all this gorgeous stuff. Has my heart and soul. And someone that still very passionately studies it to this day, seeing the patterns was very fear-inducing. Because I was like, oh, we are McFucked. But I'm not here to instill fear into y'all. That's not what I want to do. More just bring awareness to everything that's happening. So, when the mass immigration of Venezuelan individuals happened into this country, I was not surprised, right? Because of everything that was going on in the background that is not really made known to us as a public, as a society, on a larger scale, because, well, that's not the kind of news that sells, is it?
The news that sells is not information, it is sensationalism to some degree. No shade to my reporters out there. No shade to everyone that is in news and media to that capacity. None at all. But just like anyone here that makes content and does podcasts and does all this stuff, well, you have to do something for fucking views and to get that traction. But media, especially larger media larger media at large, jeez, what are words? Larger media corporations are all run by conglomerates or someone that is some type of billionaire or millionaire, or they have all these financiers, right? So things will always be swayed one way or another. Even myself, when reporting things, I try to be as impartial as possible and see all the sides, but my personal values will always shine on fucking through. And to quote fucking, oh my god, what is that one movie? Abraham Lincoln Vampire Hunter? We are not free until every man is free, and woman, and child, and human being. So my values will shine on through to some capacity. That said, from the bounty laws to the bill in Texas to the arrests that have been happening to Dr. fucking Phil following ICE here and shit, like, my boy, sit down. You racist fuck, sit down. Like, get the fuck out. Have y'all seen that video? Like, he tells the guy, how do you know me, bitch? Like Jon Stewart said, you are in one thing, Dr. fucking Phil. Like, I cannot. I'm just like, he is a civilian. How'd you get permission to do that? And then, like, one of my besties was like, well, he is a white man. And I was like, that is so trash, but so true. I hate it here. I just cannot. So, that said, there has been this whole narrative of diversity, equity, and inclusion being the big beast, the big demon that is against taking everybody's jobs and not putting qualified people in those positions, and blah, 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 blah. We have known since the pandemic, since before the fucking pandemic, that it does not matter how fucking qualified you are for a position if you do not know Harry, Sue, and Joe. Because they know blah, 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 who is so-and-so's person, kid, friend, bestie, whatever, fucking ever. And you do not get hired for the simple fact that while this person might not be as equally qualified as you, yep, they know somebody. I talked about it on Pop Culture. I did the Rogue cosplay, and I was like, it's all about who you know. And granted, I have gotten jobs full on, not just networking, but I am also very fucking qualified. I'm qualified as a bitch. I've dabbled in pretty much fucking everything. I'm cursing so much, Lord. I'm so sorry. I always start channeling in the middle of makeup and motivation, and I'm like, what am I channeling? Why am I channeling that? What is this reading going to be like? But the lie that's been said about diversity, equity, and inclusion, besides that it's to hire unqualified individuals. No, it's not. It's about hiring individuals that would be more commonly overlooked because of age, race, gender, ableism, or any other form of discriminatory behavior. And those that benefit most from it are white women.
That's how it started. To give white women a shot in the workforce. When it was only whitey men that were allowed to hold positions of power. The fight for rights and justice is not old. It is not as old as people will have you generally believe. There are things that like owning, as a woman, your own fucking bank account, the ability to wear pants any fucking time you want, the ability to have a platform, to own your own business, to rent your own home, to freaking speak out of turn, to have an opinion. There are things that came from protests. That came from people wanting everyone to be equal, to have rights. With the eradication of DEI from the government, that makes it a very scary place because it is like wiping history and what everyone has fought for. I saw a video of a veteran. Ooh, and just thinking about it makes me want to sob fucking a river right now. So, they're basically showing him how not only Elon Musk did the Nazi salute at the inauguration, because that's what it was. It was not a fucking Roman salute. It was not, no, shut the fuck up. And I don't even want to hear it in the comments because it is what it is. You put them pictures side by side, it is what it is. His friggin' family, their history, being part of the Nazi Party, supporting apartheid, the individuals that were there at the inauguration themselves being anti-democracy and being pro-oligarchy, being pro-monarchy, being pro-freaking corporate governance. Like, come on, y'all. Be so for real. And who do you think corporate governance is going to help? Not the regular folks. All these tariffs they're trying to impose, who do you think that's going to affect? Everyone. Everyone that can't fucking afford groceries as it is, because the median here in Illinois to get groceries is like $270 a week. Be so for real. Who got that kind of money? Be so for real. That said, the US is a country that the more corporate that it has gotten, the more external it has gotten. And I think that is something that a lot of people don't actually realize. Companies are leaving the country not because, oh, they just don't want to be here. No, it's because they can go anywhere else and pay people a whole lot less. A lot of our textiles are all imported. That's our clothes, that's our fabrics, that's your fucking pillowcase, your towels, all of it. I mean, seeds, grains, fruits, vegetables, car parts, gasoline, medications is all imported from the very same countries that he's trying to put all these fucking tariffs on. Also, pretty sure he's trying to take us out of the United Nations, which is not smart. I can't remember who I made the comment to, but I was like, wow, Trump really trying to make us into, and I don't know if y'all ever took Greek history, but it was this whole thing where, you know how like Sparta went off to fight and whatever, and
they died a glorious warriors battle. And oh my god, it was they built the fucking wall so high and basically screwed themselves. Athens, all those philosophers, all those people, all so smart, and they screwed themselves because they made that box into a cage. They made it so small. The actions and decisions that he is taking. We're Athens, y'all. He wants to build a wall. He wants to build those walls around all of us against everybody else and close us off. To the point where we have no one. If he leaves the UN, which I'm pretty sure he already did, then, well, they're United Nations for a reason. It is world powers making sure that there is, to some capacity, balance in the world. Granted, not perfect. Ooh, not perfect, and then flaws exist, but and we've seen it. I mean, if they break that Allied Powers Treaty, who's gonna help? Who's gonna help when freaking leader of this country decides, you know what, we're just gonna hit the giant reset button? Or we're still, NATO comes in and they're like, you know what, fuck y'all, we're taking over because you are a danger to yourself and society at large. And we've seen how great that's been in other countries that have suffered turmoil over the years. Not great. My whole concern though, when it comes to the CDC, FDA, NIH being prohibited from public communication, I was like, what'd you change? What'd you remove? What clauses did you input? What hush orders were essentially demanded? Because why? Or what is being created? And that is not, well, it's slightly my conspiracy brain. The other part, I don't trust the motherfucker. I don't trust him. Now, a little back into the immigration aspect with the Laken Riley Act. A lot of the ways that things, granted, yes, it was very tragic what happened to her and the murder that her family has to still grieve. And like I mentioned last episode, how her family was like, we don't want her death to be used politically, and the administration said, fuck that, I don't care, we're using it because fuck these illegals. Like, excuse me? I wholeheartedly believe that it will be weaponized against Latinos specifically. I think all of this is, to some capacity, affecting one community of immigrants more than all the other community of immigrants. His personal beef with Chicago definitely comes from last election, because we were like, fuck you, you cannot hold a press conference here. You cannot do your little campaigning shit over here. We don't want you. We don't want that. You don't like us, y'all. And then all the people that infiltrated in the rallies, I'm like, why y'all gotta wear the Chicago team? Represent, but like, damn, y'all. He's coming for this city double time. Granted, Brandon Johnson did make some statements about how Chicago will remain a sanctuary and all this stuff. However, raids have already started happening. ICE is already very here in the city. There have been Jax. I can't remember her full handle, but she has a system where like you can look at where ice has been spotted, things of that nature, to like make sure everyone keeps themselves safe and out of harm's way. Now, to the international aspect of all of this. If you've been on TikTok since when it first blew up, you know TikTok was a safe space. To some capacity. Granted, there's trolls and shit talkers everywhere and just mean people, right? But it was really a space where the working class, okay, the poor class, the upper middle class, whatever the fuck you want to call everyone that isn't 1% or a celebrity to some capacity, took off and skyrocketed and built businesses and made a generational wealth for their families and got to retire their parents and do all these incredible fucking things because we were all connected. And not just locally, but globally. And it's this thing of like, it's this thing of like, wow, when that shutdown happened, right? Less than 48 hours, it was like less than 12 hours, honestly. You could tell something was different. Because the videos were all blurry, shit was lagging, like, they fucked with the interface to some capacity. I promise you they sold to Meta, and I took a screenshot eons ago when I had first gotten the suggestion of connecting Facebook, and I was like, I don't like the route this is going, but I'm gonna sit back and wait. I promise y'all, some kind of merger is happening. Because, come on now, Instagram got TikTok now? Bullshit. But besides having to speak in codes on TikTok now, there is also, because of just shadow banning everything and anything to do with questioning the organization that is currently at power, with anything that has to do with questioning or sharing protest information or information about ICE or information about deportation or immigration laws or anything. You get shadow banned or censored to some capacity. I would know. Or your algorithm being so fucked, because mine was, or having to refollow people like Bernie Sanders or AOC. And the inability to see international news, what's been going on around the world. One of the biggest things, and I remember mentioning it to my mom actually, we were talking about like the benefits of TikTok, and I was like, girl, are you kidding me? Half of like the political information that I received from other countries, the only reason I know that shit is happening was because I saw it on TikTok from people that were there, living it, experiencing it in the middle of those protests. Like, shit that was never televised or reported on news here stateside. Granted, of course, you can't report every single bit of news and information because it's damn near impossible. I experience it here too on pop culture. Like, I have over 300 screenshots of things that I want to discuss and share, but it's like I'm trying to fit everything into an hour's time at most, and that's not easy. Apart from that, not being able to see the protests of people literally protesting for the U.S. to be freed from their current tyrannous government. Tyrannous. Eso dicho. That said, while all of this is happening, and we had all those fucking fires in LA, and there's that whole theory of the smart city and how the Olympics are going to be in LA, and we're going to get into all that at some other point. The LAPD was fighting off protesters that were protesting against ICE. Mind you, they were in a peaceful protest. The 67 annual Grammys were playing, and I watched them. Here's the thing. First and foremost, because I know my artists be out here working their fucking heart and souls to be recognized, to have their music out there, to make this art for all of us. Congratulations to all the Grammy winners of 2025. Y'all deserve that shit. Congrats to all the nominees that worked their fucking butts off too. Congrats to Kendrick Lamar for being the biggest fucking world-renowned and awarded hater in history. I can't. That shit is so funny to me. He won 5 Grammys, y'all, for Not Like Us. And all the commentary on the internet has me so gagged, I can't. The room's like, you know, Drake was punching the fucking air. Sitting in a corner crying. So, he won. I can't. Song of the Year, Record of the Year, Best Music Video of the Year, Best Rap Song of the Year, Best Rap Performance. And he was wearing a Canadian tuxedo, which is when you do like full jean. He had a jean cap on, jacket, and pants. I was like, bruh, you did not do that. I can't. It's so funny. And then, best part was that one of the handoffs for, I think it was Best Rap Song or Record of the Year. It was one of the two. But they played Not Like Us, and they played the chorus, the bit where it says A minor. And everyone was singing along to it. Beyonce was grooving. I was like, bruh, just go ahead. Pull a Machine Gun Kelly and switch genres to Drake. Just go ahead. Switch on over, baby boy, because, oh my gosh. Other than that, Beyonce won too. So, here's the thing, right? Ooh, was it? No, I think... Which award show was it? Last year. I can't remember. I know I covered it here on Pop Culture. But Jay-Z basically spoke out about, like, oh, it's crazy to believe that, like, Beyonce, who has had the most nominations, has never won fucking Album of the Year. And it wouldn't be the Grammys with a little bit of tea and drama. Besides the fact that they played A minor. So loud. It was so loud. That chorus, I can't. Anyway. So, again, it would not be the Grammys with a little bit of drama. The Grammys have always been a little messy. So, we're gonna get into that. But Beyonce won Album of the Year. That's how they closed it off. We're gonna get into hers first, but one of the things that I noticed too was Kendrick had said something about a crip walk, and he's like, oh, Jay-Z knows all about that, and I was like, you did not just say that out loud, my dude. What? First. Secondly, here's the thing, personally. Oh, she also won best country album. That's what it was. Congratulations. Deserved. And I know people were pressed on the internet. Oh, blah, blah, blah. Y'all, I need y'all to realize all music, all of humanity, because black women carry the Eve gene, came from black people. And it is Black History Month. Your racist is showing. Anyway, my little PSA there about just, okay, musical awareness for a second, but humanity awareness for a second. So, Trevor Noah was the host this year, and don't get me wrong, I'm not, I can't say I'm a fan, but I can't say that I am a hater.
when it comes to Trevor Noah, I do like what he was doing with The Daily Show. I did, and I do like the way that like he thinks and a lot of his takes on things. He made a comment though, and this is not the Colombia and drugs comment. That's a whole other kind of thing. And Hello Tuffy did a thing on TikTok where she was like, "Let's talk about Colombia," and it was beautifully said. But he made a comment. And one of the comments, too, that he made, which we're going to get into when we get into, like, everything about Kanye. That's going to be something else. But about... He mentioned that speech that Jay-Z gave about Beyonce. About her lack thereof award. Basically, like, and this is not verbatim, but basically very tongue-in-cheek of, like, there you go, shut up, she won, congratulations, type of thing. Which, personally, slightly pissed me off. So, when she won, like, you know, country, best country album, and it was presented by Taylor Swift, and I was just like, wow, the Grammys really just, like, we're gonna bring all the memories back for y'all this year. And fucking Miley Cyrus is so funny. She was like, even if it's not you, I might just say it's you, Beyonce. Dead. So the LAPD did this whole fucking speech about the fires and doing all this stuff, and I was like, so y'all that are here are saying all this while your colleagues are over there trying to beat the shit out of the protesters that are protesting ICE. Okay. Also, and this is just my personal opinion, I was like, why did they decide? Because the Grammys knows who's gonna win. The chairs know who's gonna win. They're the ones that decide, right? The 13,000 chairs, they know who's gonna win. They put that name on that envelope. Knowing the history, not really history because it still occurs in present day, and we've seen so many unnecessary deaths. Not that any death is necessary, but we've seen so many fucking deaths of Black Americans at the hands of police. Why would we have Beyonce, a black woman, on that stage with all those cops behind her handing her the fucking award? I was like, literally in my head and out loud, I was like, ho, is you safe? Like, I'm fucking concerned. Like, it just, me personally, my anxiety was like peaked at that moment. But when she won, I was just, you know, mind you, I'm outside looking in, and I'm like staring at her reaction, and I was like, she ain't happy about this. She's not happy about this award. And while she might be very fucking grateful, because of the speech that Jay-Z had given last year about her not winning it and everything, it's like, damn. The way my brain operates is like, okay, if I were in a position where I'm winning an award and my significant other, who has all this prestige and power and influence, mentioned how I am deserving of said award and never got it, and then I get it the next fucking year, me as a woman, I'd be like, did I get the award because you bitches actually think I fucking deserved it, and you're like finally ready to recognize and acknowledge me for all my talent and gloriousness, or did you fucking do it because my man said something and you don't want to deal with the fucking backlash of another year of people saying something about not getting that recognition? And that was the only thing I could fucking think of when I saw her reaction. I was like, I'd be pissed too. I was like, hey, I get it. I'd also be fucking upset because, like, I don't know. It kind of, and you saw Jay's face. He was like, oh my god, yes. Like, you won. I'm like, No, I'd love to be a fly on the wall of that car ride home, or in that home when they're talking about it. Like, I don't know. I just felt like it, outside perspective, right? Because I have no fucking idea. I don't know these people. But I was like, yeah, it didn't to me feel like, yay, I won album of the year. It was like, great, because you fucking said something. It's now that I got it. And I feel like that might feel a little underwhelming and a little, like, underhanded. Like, damn. I'm only recognized not for my talent and all the amazing shit that I've done throughout my career, but because a man had to point it out. Kind of trash. Kind of would not feel very triumphant in that moment. Just me personally. Now, that said, in other news, not other news, still Grammy news, jeez. Speaking of drama and Kanye, how did we get to Kanye? So he crashed the red carpet of the Grammys with Bianca Censori, and he designed a dress for her, and it was just completely sheer nutting, and he made her take her, or I don't know, I can't read lips. I can't read his lips for sure. Because I was trying. I was trying for dear life. Because some people will do, like, super well of, like, articulating and, like, the way that their mouth moves. You can tell what words they're saying. I can't with them. I couldn't. With him or her, I was like, okay, but what are they saying? Because it looks like she's saying no, she doesn't want to take off the coat. Which, like, completely understandable because she was naked under that, like, giant fur. And it looked like he was, like, saying something along the lines of, like, no, you better fucking take off your coat, or you promise, or remember, like, this is the agreement, or whatever. I don't know what happened. I don't know what he said. But she took it off, and she was butt-ass naked, and it is a completely sheer dress. And people were saying that, like, he did that as a humiliation towards Kim K. Which, if you think about it, because you remember, I don't know if you guys remember, the Met Gala when she did, like, the wet look, and the dress, it wasn't sheer, but it just looked like it was her skin. Things like that, where he had issues with her dressing a certain way, and looking a certain way, and, like, exposing herself to the public, and all this stuff, but now he is, like, taking that out on Bianca, is the consensus online, and I don't know how I feel about it. Any of it. But they were not invited, and so they got kicked out. And when Trevor Noah mentioned Kanye, and he's like, oh, we listened, and then the freaking head chair of the Grammys was like, yes, and we took note, and we listened, and blah, 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 and we're more inclusive, and we're including all these people, and now we have 13,000 chairs, and, like, the most number of minority POC, BIPOC individuals that we've ever had. And I'm just like, this feels very shady, but alright. Congratulations to Shakira on winning I think it was the best Latin album, it wasn't urban. Can't remember. But she won. And they had J-Lo give her that Grammy. And I was like, because I was watching it with my friends, like, we have a group chat. All of us are in separate parts right now, but we're all in a group chat talking about the awards. And I was like, never forget when J-Lo said that she could rock a whole stadium for the Super Bowl by herself. She didn't need Shakira. And somebody posted on X, formerly known as Twitter, like, you know, J-Lo didn't want to let go of that Grammy. I was like, I can't stand y'all. But, like, it looked like it, huh? Anyway, jokes aside. Partial jokes. Yeah, so, partial jokes aside. I would have loved to have seen Bad Bunny at the Grammys. That would have been super cool, but he was somewhere on a boat enjoying warm weather. I can't wait for the Vi Tirar Más Fotos to be included in next year's Grammys, because it definitely will be, for sure. It's such a good album. I'm obsessed. I'm still gonna do that review for that, y'all. Review pending. I will not be in this cosplay. But I was looking at Little Star. Oh no! It's like, can you see it? Can you see the little star? I was like, it's giving me real Puerto Rican flag vibes. But that said, when it comes to the Grammys, right? The reason why there's always a little bit of drama, there's always a little bit of like, oh my god, what's happening? It seems a little political, it seems a little bit of everything. The Grammys are essentially chosen, it's like the Screen Actors Guild, where like the SAG Awards, where it's the peers choosing each other of like who does the best. The performances are always top tier. I mean, this year, from Chappell Roan to Doechii to Ray to Benson Boone to Sabrina to Charlie to Cynthia Erivo to Stevie Wonder to everyone that fucking performed. It was so good. And Heidi Klum and oh my god, what's her name? I can't remember, but they're the ones that ripped Benson Boone's like oversuit off, and I was like, I love this. This is just like iconic everywhere. And then the guest appearances on Charlie XCX's stage, because that was her stage. She just killed, and I love her so much. Brat. Forever. But a lot comes up during the Grammys. Not only like Shakira speaking out of what's going on with the immigrant population in this country, to just political conversations over the years, over Black Lives Matters and inclusion and equal pay rights and all of that. This year, one of the things that was super impactful besides Shakira's speech was definitely Chappell Roan. Your favorite artist. So Chappell, in her acceptance speech, talked about how if she had ever won a Grammy, she would make sure that she was a voice for livable wage and healthcare of artists and all those in artistry. And she basically told the labels, like, we've got you, but do you got us? And people stood up, people cried, clapped, everything. There has always been this mindset around the starving artist, and how if you do anything for art, unless you are an industry plant, you will be broke or broken to some capacity, or abused or taken advantage of, which does happen, like in NSYNC's sixth member, which was not a real member. It was their what the fuck was he, a talent agent or whatever the fuck, a scam artist, and profited off of all of their hard work, right? Or everything that has come out about P. Diddy and Hollywood's worst kept secret, and just like so many things, right? Of artists being used and abused for their art and talent. Or Scooter Braun and Taylor Swift. And we want to go with a much more recent example of abuse of power. One, I love that she spoke up about it. Incredible. Two, I think it is something, especially right now, with a lot of the artists that are everybody's favorite artists, living in LA and trying to make a living and doing all this stuff. Like, it is heartbreaking because, like, what if they don't have those protections to make sure that they're okay, right? I mean, there's so many stories of artists that work 3, 4, 5 jobs in between gigs to try and, like, make their art sustainable. Especially developing artists. I am very curious to see what the turnaround on this is going to be. I'm very curious to see what is going to happen this year in the world of music, movies, media, entertainment, and popular culture as a whole. Because of it. I think that
2025 is a year of very big shifts, and we are seeing the shiftiest of shifts happen. And I mean, at one of the after parties, Janelle Monáe she was with Anderson .Paak, and they were doing a whole performance, and they were doing a cover of one of Nelly's songs, and she tore him a new asshole of like, damn, you really went out here and sang at the inauguration at one of the balls. So did Soulja Boy, so did Snoop, so did Carrie Underwood at the actual inauguration. I was like, Queen, no. Poor K. Why would you do that? And Nelly said something along the lines of like, oh, because he respects the like flag or whatever, and whoever's in office and all this stuff. And I was like, okay, huh. And then with Snoop, everyone was like, you were the biggest hater of this man. You were telling people that like if they were to perform, they were gonna be all these types of things. What happened to that? Anyway, more on like who attended the inauguration and just other things as we progress, and more info next week. To scale back a little bit of why also the words. This episode this week I know is quite hefty and a little long, and I'm so sorry, but I wanted to get through much as I possibly could. When it comes to artistry, and I've had this conversation over the years with different people that argue that movies and shows and music and artistry should not be political, and they should not put their ideologies into things and all this stuff. But we forget, art has always been political. Music has always been a counterculture to the established powers to some capacity, or to show pride in the established powers to some capacity. You can tell what the state of the world was by what art was popular at that time, or what form of art was most done at that time. We have been on the precipice of ginormous change for a while. And that brings us to today's topic of conversation, which is life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. And I would like to start off today's pop culture TOC with none other than the preamble of the Constitution of the United States of America, because the Constitution was removed from the president's website, from the like White House, the whatever, president.gov, and I was like, or whitehouse.gov, I don't remember what the fucking site is. I've also been awake for entirely too long. But we the people of the United States, in order to form a more perfect union, establish justice, ensure domestic tranquility, provide for the common defense, promote the general welfare, and secure the blessings of liberty to ourselves and our posterity, do ordain and establish this Constitution for the United States of America. If you grew up in the 90s, if you were a kid then, you got to do, or even if you were Gen X, you got to do all the field trips to the White House and see the Constitution, all this stuff. I didn't get to go on that field trip. They said, y'all a bunch of little badasses. Y'all don't get to go. Fucked up. But you grew up on that. And to some capacity, you grew up on National Treasure and Nicolas Cage trying to steal the Declaration of Independence. You grew up, to some capacity, believing in life and liberty and the pursuit of happiness, in the American dream, in what was painted to us all as a possibility that we could too succeed regardless of race, religion, background, ethnicity, or gender in this country. Granted, we have seen so many things collectively as a society throughout, right? Whether it was war, crash of the stock market, crash of the housing market, freaking pandemic, so many other things. A whole lot of fucking racism to boot. There have always been glimmers of hope throughout. There have always been those. Oh my gosh, I was telling y'all, and I completely sidetracked, of the veteran. That TikTok, it was on TikTok, it makes me cry. But basically the fucking salute, and he was like crying, and he's like, what did those boys die for? And I was like, because they were children, they were boys. I can't, like, really a lot of them, they were, what, if they lied on their military card, 15, 16, 17, 18, going off to war, fighting for liberty, fighting for our rights, fighting for the freedom of Jewish people. Like, it's so crazy. It's so crazy to me to think that we are in a space where our lives are threatened constantly by the same powers that are supposed to protect us all. That our liberty feels not quite so liberal. And that our pursuit of happiness seems quite bleak. Or that the new pursuit of happiness is the new American dream being leaving America. Right? In the journey of life, love, and self-healing, and all the gorgeous things we talk about here on pop culture, when it comes to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, majority of people that embark on the self-healing journey is not usually for self-realization. It is because they want to be free. They want to find purpose. They want to feel happy again. They want to be able to live after experiencing hurts and traumas and all the shit in the past that clouded them and removed them from who they were. Started my personal healing journey because I wanted to be happy. And I went to therapy. And I love you, Jeremy, you're the best. And he was like, well, happiness is an emotion. And I was like, your point? Very combative, right? But it was in that pursuit that I was like, I need to be better. I need to change. I need to do better. I need to change my mindset about a bunch of things. I need to change my actions on a lot of things. And did. After that happened, I was like, damn. Okay. I feel happiness a little more now. But I still felt stuck. And I was like, I want to be free. I want to experience freedom or liberty. Right, good old Lady Liberty. She right there cruising along with Lady Luck. US is like, come back. They're like, fuck you right now. Y'all gotta figure some shit out anyway. Horrible joke aside. I was like, damn. Why do I feel trapped? What is putting me in this space where I feel like I'm not achieving happiness for whatever reason? then I traversed that. And I reached the point that we all do in the spiritual journey, in the self-healing journey, where you realize, well, it really is all about living and continuing to do so. Respectfully and disrespectfully as fuck, and loud and proud and unabashedly. This country was, granted, like I said, questionably built, and definitely with a razzle-dazzle of a whole lot of fucking colonialism. But the original intent of why all the forefathers that came to this country did was because they were sick and tired of their fucking king. They were tired of the tyranny, tired of the government. Why did the Boston Tea Party happen? Because of the fucking increase in taxes. Threw that shit in the river. They were like, fuck this tea. But the ideology around it is the people standing up to a tyrant, to tyrannical rule. And tyranny has taken on various, not definitions, because the definition remains the same, but on different societal connotations to it, right? Where we've gone past tyranny to full-on dictatorship. And abuse and corruption of power. Considering we are in the age of Aquarius, and it has been a long time overdue for people to stand up and fight for themselves and their rights and fellow man. To all my lovely hummingbirds out there. To all the millennials and Gen Zs, because welcome Gen Z, you are adults now too. And all the Gen X's. We are those glimmers of hope now. We are those people in the history books now. That did something everywhere to me. Oh. I had a conversation with someone at work about me and my personal health issues and the endo journey, and how, you know, life even post-hysterectomy is not, granted I knew, right, it's not all glitter and rainbows out here, y'all. Glitter and stars out here, y'all. It's rough. And even though endometriosis is something that affects 1 in every 10 women, supposedly, I think it's much more. There is still not the level of exposure that it should be for this health condition, like many other health conditions. And this individual, sweetheart to boot, love her to bits. She is my freaking co-captain in closing crime all the time. But she was like, oh, you know, like, why don't you look for people on the internet that talk about endo and all this stuff? And I literally froze. And it wasn't, my statement wasn't a remark in like a reproaching sense, but it was more of like a whoosh moment. We've talked about the whoosh moment here on Pop Culture before. And if you're like, Monroe, what are you talking about? Go listen to the other episodes, y'all. But I'm gonna do an updated whoosh moment episode where it's a realization. But I said, I was like, you know, I am the person on the internet. I am that resource. And y'all, when I tell y'all, I got home and sobbed like a fucking baby. I was like, oh my God, it's me. I was like, I am that resource. I know all the things. I am trying my best to bring all the things forward. When it comes to everything going on in the world now, it really is up to us. We are the generation that the ones before us were looking forward to. Granted, the hands we were dealt were kind of trash, but considering a lot of us have Chiron and Virgo, it makes the sense. It makes a whole lot of sense. And we're going to get into that more in a grain of salt. And planetary positions and all that good shit. Basically, in the journey of life and self-healing, when we are out here fighting for life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, my lovely hummingbirds, I need you to be your biggest glimmer of hope. Not just for you, for others. And I know that can feel daunting and like a giant responsibility. Like, Monroe, I can barely get me to like take care of me, which means I gotta be a glimmer of hope for everybody else too. It means more so on a scale of the more you do for you, the more you live your authentic life, the more you free yourself of constraints, both physical and mental. And the more that you pursue your joys and happiness in life, the more that it creates a trickle effect for everyone that's watching. Granted, well, yes, we do live in a world where nobody gives a fuck as much as you do. We also live in a world where you never know who's watching. And so many more people pay attention than you think. And your words do have lasting impact, and you are important. But it starts with you. It starts with us. This is honestly one of my longest episodes to date, and I did not think it would be this freaking long, but alas, here we are. I keep seeing 828 right now, and this is the longest minute of my life. And we're going to Google that angel number, and we're going to put what it means here, because that message might be for somebody out there too. But when it comes to making lasting change in the world, it is now up to every single one of us to keep learning, to keep growing, to keep doing, to keep living. Pursue what makes you happy. Pursue it so much that you finally feel free and you allow yourself to live a life, a full life, a life of joy. A life that is sustainable. A life where you feel complete. And be scared. And let it mold you and get angry and laugh and cry and feel. But what you don't do is back the fuck down on who you are. Stand 10 toes down, my lovely hummingbirds. And be you. And keep thriving. And pushing. And learning. And educating others where you can. And if all you can do today is just wake the fuck up and be you, that is more than enough. So do that. I love you. All of you, my lovely hummingbirds. It's gonna be okay. It might not feel like it. Ooh, it does not feel like it. And I mentioned this when I was watching the fucking Chicago 7, was it? I can't remember the name of the movie. I can't remember anything right now. I need things that are not safe for. Granted, I've said worse, but not the point right now. Not the point right now. I'm feeling some type of way. Oh, this February. It all feels very reminiscent of many occurrences of the past all in one. All we can do now is look to each other, form a more perfect union, hold ourselves and hold each other down, and lift each other up, and be there. May this year be the year that all your delulus become the trululu salulu that you need, my lovely hummingbirds, okay? May you experience a life that is free and happy. Don't mind the sirens going on in the background. And may we see a better side on the other side of all of this. I love you. Stay safe. It's gonna be okay. Even if we cannot see how quite yet, it will be. As always, les mando mucha paz, muchos besos, y les recuerdo que miren hacia la luna, sending you much peace, many kisses, and reminding you to always look up at the moon. I love you all so much, my lovely hummingbirds. I will catch you on the next one. Tune in to any other episode here on Pop Culture if you are so inclined. Tune into my social media accounts for special messages that I got coming up, y'all. I'm so excited for this. This is gonna be good. And tune in. Like I said, check out any of the resources in the links in the description, via my link tree, all of it, whatever way you choose. Just know that it'll be okay. It will be. I love y'all. And I'll catch you on the next one. Bye.